There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
Welcome to this post-game edition of the Program Guys podcast. I am your post-game host, Mark Hall, joined by Ryan Tyson and Matt Gann. We were all in the stadium for this 34-30 victory over the Texas Longhorns, and we are here to provide the ultimate breakdown for you. As always, you need to hit like and subscribe on the video. You need to go follow us at Program Guys everywhere you can get us. I'm not going to tell you more than that. We don't have time for that. We got a game to get into. Hey, Ryan Tyson.
Yeah.
How you feeling, baby?
Dude, my voice is semi here. I don't know. It's like half here, half not. It'll probably go out later tonight, but I am jazzed up. I am like extremely tired, but the adrenaline is just like pumping through my veins still. And so I'm here to talk about it. And I just like, what a damn game, man. Like, what a game. It was just like, we've talked a lot about OU Texas's in the past and how like amazing they've been. This one is right up there at the top. And that's what we expected, and we got it, and it was beautiful. And I loved every minute of it.
Matt, what you got?
What a freaking game, guys. Holy heck. I cannot tell you the amount of times sitting in the stadium just getting chills, because there's just no other atmosphere like this in college football. Like, you can talk about the Iron Bowl and some of the old other college rivalries, but there's nothing that beats two teams, OU and Texas, half crimson, half orange, coming in there. And these are the types of games you come to OU, you go to Texas for, to meet in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl, at the fair, for these games. Probably the best OU Texas game I have been to, at least with an OU victory. Incredible atmosphere. The fans, I'm about to lose my voice as well, Tyson. I'm right there with you. Pretty much was crying at the end because this team means so much to me. And I just saw the writing on the wall that this could be another Texas game-winning field goal kick like it was Cameron Dicker, the kicker, a few years back.
Different team.
Different team, baby.
It's a different team.
822. Can't wait to hop in more about it.
Before we even go, it's a different team. And Brent Venables, man. I'll never, ever be over how, year one went the way year one did, but he's building this thing the right way. And today was maybe the best piece of evidence yet that he's doing so.
It was his coming out party, man. I love it so much. It was like,
incredible.
That we have heard all week that we don't stand a chance against this team. And I know we're gonna talk in detail.
We're a roadblock,
but we don't stand a chance. We're not like, this team lost 49-0 last year. Brent Venables isn't really the guy. Like, we haven't played anybody. Like, we've heard this over and over and over again. And this team was just like, you know what? Screw it. We're going to show that we can do this. And actually, we're going to punch them in the mouth. And we're going to win this game. And man, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. What a testament to Brent Venables and like you said, what he's building in Norman.
On that point, we are going to start with the defense today. Normally it's the offense, but oh my goodness, how could you start any other way? Quinn Ewers goes 31 for 37, better than I thought, actually, for 346 yards. He's got a touchdown and 2 interceptions. As a runner, he goes 8 carries for negative 14 yards. Jonathan Brooks leads the Longhorns in rushing in 22 carries, 129 yards. Jordan Whittington led them. Sorry, guys, I drank a little bit. 10 catches, 115 yards. Xavier Worthy right behind him, 8 catches, 108 yards. Gunnar Helm scores their only touchdown. That's the backup tight end behind Jatavian Sanders, who, after the Billy Bowman hit, I don't think had much to do in the football game today. Boys, Matt Gann, give me your opening thoughts on the defense.
I think the mentality is the bend, don't break defense, because obviously we played a much better team in Texas. Quinn Ewers played a phenomenal game, and we don't need to discredit this Texas defense. They are overall team. They are very talented at especially the skill positions, both Jonathan Brooks and Jordan Winton going over for 100 yards each. But this team, the defense makes plays where they need to. I think the biggest thing and the biggest moment of the game was that goal-to-goal situation. Texas was within our 2-yard line, and we stopped them 4 straight times.
The most amazing thing I've ever seen.
That defense, the last 6-7 years, would just let that in. That'd be ice. That'd just be like cutting through butter. This OU defense is much different. Again, they gave up a bunch of yards today. There were some injuries. We have not heard an update on Gentry Williams, who had a phenomenal day with an interception and fumble recovery. The defense committed 3 turnovers as well. I don't know what more you can ask from this team, especially playing a very high-power offense in Texas, but never giving up, even with the big plays and all the momentum swings that OU Texas brings. I was very, very impressed. And I think JK7 also had his coming out party. He had over 13 tackles. We needed him to step up with Danny Stutzman, who obviously is playing still at an All-American level. But man, this defense is for real. And I think solidified a lot of those haters who kept saying OU has not played anybody yet. I think this game really solidified this defense is for real.
Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that Gann is saying here. Couple things that just stood out for me with the defense, 3 turnovers, starting the game on the second play with an interception, like incredible.
Let me interrupt you.
Yeah.
4 turnovers. That was dog shit.
What was the fourth
dog
one?
shit. That was a fumble.
The one that
that was
the
dog
one
shit.
that they didn't
that
count
was a fumble. I'm counting 4 takeaways from this game. So whenever we do the math at the end of the year, add 1, baby, because we were truly ADA compliant with the blind referees out there today, and they just didn't see what we all saw. So Ryan, go ahead, but I'm going to call you 4 takeaways.
Okay.
4 takeaways.
3 documented takeaways.
Let's
say that. 3 documented. 1 on the second play of the game. I think it was that interception by Gentry. Absolutely electric. Like you can't have a better first minute than the Oklahoma defense had. Not even just the takeaways, but a lot of things that Gann touched on, where the bend don't break mentality. This is a team that did not get run over ever. They had plays, they made plays. This is a very good offense. Texas' offense is very good. They were a very good team. We talked about them being in the preview game, how good they are. And they just would not allow them to completely, they never completely got away from them. They were always there. Sure, they made a couple mistakes here and there, but nothing major. And I think overall they were just consistent. And I can't remember the last time I saw an OU team, stop a very good offense on the 1-yard line 4 times in a row. That is what you need to know about this defense, is that they are here. They wanted to prove themselves. I think that's very evident. And they did. And that's exactly what they did. And Brent Venables should be absolutely proud of his entire team today, but especially the defensive guys.
Yeah, it's something that you said something in the middle there that made me think about, man, count up the number of carries that went for 4 yards or less, and then count up the number of carries that went for more than that. Shoot. Count up the number of carries that went for 3 yards or less, and then more than that. We were really optimizing everything against the run in a way that, look, Jonathan Brooks comes away with 22 carries, 129 yards, but that's mostly on a couple of breaks. His long is 31 yards. You remove that, he's 22 for 91. It doesn't look quite so good, right? And he had a couple breaks like that, but the defense is there at every level today in a way that they haven't been yet. I would like to go through each level of the defense, if you don't mind. And let's start on the line. And I'm just going to say the names and then ease it up to you guys, because Rondell Bothroyd and Ethan Downs.
Yeah.
Matt Gann, go.
Well, totaling the defense, and a lot of this was because of that defensive line getting pressure, and we talked about this in the preview pod, that this is the best offensive line that we have faced, and the offensive line for Texas has been really good all year, really not allowing Quinn to get a lot of pressure or sacks. OU's defense had 5 sacks and 10 tackles for losses.
Crazy.
That doesn't start unless you guys have those big guys up front, like you mentioned, creating pressure, staying in those gaps, being disciplined, and then allowing some of those linebackers, who we'll talk in a second, to make those plays. But it really starts with the defensive line. This is what BV wanted. This is why we brought him in. It was incredible to see the amount of pressure we got on Quinn consistently throughout the game.
And without sending pressure too much, I thought. I expected more pressure than we saw, and we largely did it with a 3 or 4 man front. Ryan, speak to that.
No, it just didn't feel like a full out blitz. We didn't feel like we were throwing a blitz at them all the time, but we were still able to get in there and get pressure. And I think that's just like a testament to the defensive line, to they weren't coming in with 5-6 guys that they were blitzing all at Quinn all at the same time, leaving us open in the secondary. They were coming in with a ton of effort to get to him, and they were getting to him, and the offensive line wasn't able to stop them. And I think, with how good this Texas O-line has been, and I know they had an injury to their center pretty early in the game, but they were getting in those holes. They were able to put pressure on him without sacrificing some of the coverage in the backfield. And I think that's just, that's exactly what we're looking for in this defensive line. And I don't think necessarily that we've seen it to the level that we saw today this year. And they just had something in them today that was we are not going to let this team beat us. Not at least like we did last year. They wanted to win this game, and you could see it on the field. And they just the defensive line, our defensive line outplayed their offensive line. We won that battle, I think.
100%. Totally. And you can tell how much easier it makes it on the back 7 or the back 6, whatever you want to do. When that front 4 or front 3 is able to, I'll just say it, we dominated that offensive line today. It doesn't all work for the back 7, the back 8, if the 4 or the 3 up front don't play as well as they do. And Rondell Bothroyd, Ethan Downs with 2 sacks, Isaiah Code, Jonah Laulu, those guys showed up in a way that I agree with you, Ryan. We haven't seen that this year. The performance today was dominant against the best unit they've played this year, and it really has me feeling like it's on the uptick. It's coming up. Yeah. Any more thoughts on the D line before we hit the linebackers? No. All right. There's 2 linebackers that really did the damn thing today, guys. I can't say enough about Danny Stutzman, so I'm going to let you guys say it instead. Matt Gann, Danny, Jaron, Kip Lewis, what do you got, baby? Kip being in on those 4 downs, amazing. Yep. Dude's a baller.
Yeah,
Go
I think
ahead.
he's going to continue to get some more playing time. I think he's proven a lot in situational football coming in and making a big difference. But JK7 and Danny combined for 19 tackles, 1 sack, and two tackles for losses. So they were all over the field today, making big plays. It seems like every time you looked up, there was a tackle on the field. It's either JK7 or Danny Stutzman in on it. So really impressive by the linebackers today. But again, that doesn't get set up unless your defensive line is staying disciplined, staying in their gaps, allowing JK7 and Danny to fill where needed and making those big plays. So really a cohesive front seven performance today.
I brought my mom to the game today, program mom
So
Jamie,
sweet.
and she noticed early, Danny took a hit and that right arm went limp.
Mm.
And you wouldn't have known it by the way he played the rest of the game. Because that dude is an absolute freaking Iron Man. Ryan, go ahead.
And Gann said everything, I think, about like the overall scheme and how important the linebackers were today. The thing that I don't think I'll ever get over is how we swarm the ball, like, and how these linebackers swarm the ball. And it feels to me, and I know we make jokes about like Danny and JK7 and their weird samurai sword things and all that stuff, but those guys have something. They just have like a connection that a lot of people don't have, and you can see it. You can see that the way they play off of each other, and you can see the way that they just like go after the ball, and you can see that one of them is going to be in the right spot. Like today, I really think it was JK7 who was the standout in the linebackers, and I thought he played incredible today. We know how good Danny is, and I think we've kind of been waiting to see, is Kanak gonna do what we think he can do? And I think he showed that more today. But I think they have something, really special just between the two of them, teammate wise, that they're able to read off of each other very well. And man, I only think they're gonna get better. Like, I think they're just gonna keep getting better. And they've shown it week after week that they're getting better and getting better and getting better. So I'm excited, man.
At least 5 or 6 more weeks with these two guys together.
Yeah.
Right. Who knows what Danny does after the season, but at least 5 or 6 more weeks. Today was, I think Matt said it, man, Jaren Kanak, we didn't even send him on too much pressure. And that was my thing, was I really wanted us to send him up that A gap and get in Quinn's face because he's very good on the blitz. Nope. 4-man front. Jaren's just making plays as they come to him. He's reading the run. He's reading the pass. He's playing incredibly well. He's the kind of player now at the linebacker position that we all got a little stoked over when he lined up at Cheetah 2 or 3 times last year. You know, he is truly coming into his own as a player in a very similar way to how Danny did last year. There's just, you get reps in the defense, especially for Jaren, another year in it, more people around you that know it too. He really showed out today, and I still believe Danny had just an incredible day too. But you got to give Jaren Kanak his props because it was probably his best game as a Sooner. I mean, if not the Cincinnati game, but damn, it was good. Damn, it was good. Any more thoughts on the linebackers?
If Jaren is like Danny last year, that means Mason has to hate him. He just doesn't like him at all. It's just, I wonder where Mason is.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. He's just like, it wasn't good enough.
Wasn't good enough.
Look, it's like, look, he's the best player on the field. Not good enough.
No, I don't have anything else on linebackers. They're great today.
They were great today. Matt?
I also thought Deshaun played in some good spots. I think he was out of some plays.
Such a good point. Deshaun played incredibly.
Yeah, he didn't have as many tackles as the guys we just mentioned, but I think he was in the key spots where he needed to be, especially in that goal-to-goal situation. He blew up that third down play. I mean, took the tackle or the tight end, I can't remember who it was, completely out of the play, pushing him all the way back to get the running back to lose some yards. So he played in some really, really good spots today. So these three linebackers, Mixon, Kip Lewis, and some of the freshmen, man, they got a really, really good core. Moving forward to the season.
I'm really glad that you said that because I would have missed it. And between Desan and Peyton Bowen, and that's the two that were really in and out at Cheetah. If we even had a Cheetah, right? We had Kendall Dolby in there sometimes, but we'll get to that. Desan played so well when he was in there. There wasn't a time like we've seen in the past where he's lost in space against a receiver. We've seen that a couple times throughout the year, not today. Really great game out of Desan. Thank you, Matt, for saying that. Defensive backs. Billy. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. When he blasted Jatavian Sanders, I told my mom his middle name starts with an F. And I'm not going to repeat it all here, but that's Billy F. Bowman right there with that hit. Y'all have anyone other than Billy Bowman that we should start with on the defensive backfield?
I mean, you can talk. I think it was probably their weakest game. I think when Quentin did have time, he was able to pick apart the secondary, those quick slants. And again, maybe some of that is scheme, but I don't know why some of these guys aren't playing up closer and just letting these guys get free releases. I'd like to see more man press and see, really make these wide receivers work. And maybe just because of their explosive playmaking, they want to play more of a conservative defense on the back end. But I mean, they gave up 346 yards, a lot of broken plays, a lot of guys running over the middle, these quick slants or guys finding spots in the zone open. So I think it was definitely their weakest game, but they definitely made some plays, obviously with the 2 picks, Billy Bowman blowing that guy up for a pick, and obviously Gentry Williams on the second play of the game, reading the route and intercepting it perfectly. So again, not the best performance, but they'll figure it out. And I have no doubt, especially with Peyton Bowen playing more, he's just got those natural instincts. I don't think you can teach somebody. And I think the more and more he plays, he's going to continue to get better. And obviously we hope that Gentry Williams isn't have a serious issue, because I mean, he's just been playing really lights out the last few weeks, and definitely need him with Billy and Reggie to continue to play for us.
Right. And real fast before you go, to your point, Gan, I do think that intermediate part of the field is where they kind of ate us up a little bit, sort of where the defensive secondary backed up and the linebackers aren't quite deep enough. And that's where Quinn got us. Those are the places where Quinn got us. I'll take that though, because contrary to what you said, I actually believe they played very well. Ultimately, you give up 2 touchdowns to the offense. One's a rushing touchdown, one's a passing touchdown. I think that sometimes you're going to have to take the L's as they come. Ultimately, I do think the secondary played very well. Ryan, tell me where I'm wrong, baby. What do you think?
No, I actually, I overall think they played pretty well as well. I said well a lot there. So, but we took away the deep ball, like completely took it away. And that is something that I watched, because I remember watching the Texas Alabama game, and that is something that they did against Alabama. Like, Quinn can throw the ball pretty far, and he's usually pretty accurate. And like, we took that away. And yes, we gave up some in the middle ground, but I truly believe that was more around, kind of going back to that, like, bend, don't break. Right. Overall, I thought they played well. Did they play like lights out, like super stellar over every single throw that we saw come to them in the secondary? No, they didn't. I thought Billy played well. I thought that Gentry Williams played really well. I thought Gentry played great, and I really, really hope that injury is not serious. I guess we'll find out more soon. But we did give up some in the middle, like you guys are talking about. And if I'm being picky, like that's where I would want us to clean it up in the future. But we took away, I think, a big asset to that Texas offense, which is those deep balls. And I can't say that they had a bad game and they were able to do that. So I thought they were good. I didn't think maybe it was their best of the season, but they were also playing the best offense that we will play this year. So, or at least in the regular season. So overall, I thought they played well. I think Gentry Williams was kind of a standout for me.
Well, and it's really interesting looking at the stat line. Jordan Whittington goes 10 for 115. Xavier Worthy goes 8 for 108. And I'll just tell you, on all of the Xavier Worthy plays, he's just a really good player.
He's great.
He's just a really good player who's getting open. He's too fast. He's been in the game for too long. He's going to be open. Jordan Whittington's very similar. He's a senior. I said it on the space this weekend. Go check out the Twitter spaces we did this weekend. And our goodness, during the week, weekends are weird. And those were the two who sort of cooked us insofar as they cooked us, right? We kept Adonai Mitchell, AD Mitchell, 6'4", 200 pounds, as fast as anyone on the field. We kept that dude in check. 3 catches, 33 yards. You have to think that was a part of the game plan to take their most dominant physically defender or receiver out of the game. And I think we did that.
Yep. And 33, if you would tell me AD Mitchell get 33 yards at the end of this game, I've been like, you're a crazy person. So
wonderful. Yeah, that's a great game.
I consider that a victory, right? And so I thought they played well. Like I said, did they play lights out? No, but this is a very good offense that they played.
Any final thoughts on the defense?
Great game by the defense. Man, we actually have a defense again. It's super weird. It's a super weird feeling. It feels great, but it's weird.
I said it during the week, and I think the defense showed it more than the offense did. Absolute balls of steel. Absolute balls of steel. Just the 4 downs at the goal line, standing strong every time you had to. That fake punt, you got to go back on the field. Like, just what an incredible game by Brent Venables' defense. It was truly a coming out party for anyone who might have been doubting.
Agreed.
And let's hit the freaking offense, guys.
Oh, man. Oh,
Opening thoughts on the offense. Dillon Gabriel goes 23 for 38, 285, 1 touchdown. On the ground, Dillon Gabriel also goes 14 carries for 113 yards and a touchdown. Tyree Walker's the second leading rusher, 15 carries, 46 yards. Marcus Major, Tyree, 2 touchdowns, looking great. Marcus Major, 9 carries, 27 yards behind him. Let's start on the ground. How do we feel?
Not great. I mean, DG had to use his
other than DG,
who I think, other than the QB designs runs, when he actually had to run, if the pocket was collapsing and he had to step up and there was grass to go, he really took advantage of the opportunities he had. Again, some of those QB design runs, I just don't like putting our player in a position to take hits. I thought it was a really good play design on the first drive. Obviously, him scoring the rushing touchdown, but really utilize his legs when needed. But outside of that, man, this run game, I think, is in trouble. I mean, we talked about it before. There just hasn't been a guy that stepped up, and I don't think the offensive line is really run blocking as what we've seen in the past. So they're going to have to figure out ways. I think from this point forward, it's just got to be the run game has to do enough. And I think that's what it did, getting those 3 to 4 yards to at least move in a positive direction. You're probably just not going to have a guy that's going to go for 150 and 2 touchdowns. That's probably this is not that running back room that we've seen so far. And obviously no carries for Javonte Barnes. So he might have the injury bug, but no update on that. They're going to have to figure out the run game, though. It's got to be enough. It doesn't have to be spectacular, but it's got to be enough to let the linebackers and safeties come down and then to respect the run at the end of the day. But not very good outside of DG.
I think that's where Jeff Levy landed with today's game plan. Was we got to run the ball enough to make them respect it. And look, Tawi Walker only 3.1 per carry, but I think he played very well. On through the air, Tawi goes 2 for 14, still has 2 touchdowns. I think that he played well. I think that if we're going to stick with the old guns at the running back position, I'd rather go Tawi than Marcus. That's what I saw from today. And Gavin goes 1 for -1. We don't see Javonte on offense at all. It seems like we're going to go with the old guns. Ryan, what do you think?
I'm over the Marcus Major experience. I'm over it. I'm sorry. It's not working. It hasn't worked all year. Except for that one game. It's not explosive enough. It's not what we need. And he's not the best athlete in that running back room. And you can see it on the field. And you know what? I don't really understand the play calling around him. I digress though. Overall, I thought the run game, no, not wonderful. Not exactly what we wanted. Did it do its job? Yes. I think it did its job.
Did enough.
It did enough. Just enough, barely. But I think it did enough to allow a little bit of breathing room for DG, who I know we're going to talk about probably in detail a little later. I think it did enough to give a little bit of breathing room to other sides of the offense that we were able to make it work. Are we a balanced offense? No, not at all. We kind of were a balanced offense today, mostly because of DG running the ball. So it's not good enough. It's not good enough, but it's just enough that allows us
today
to
was
squeak
enough.
by. To squeak by.
Today it was enough. I think that, to your point, without Dillon Gabriel on the ground, it looks so much worse on the ground than it did. He really saved our asses on multiple plays. And frankly, none of them were the designed Dillon Gabriel runs. Like all of those plays that they hit early a couple of times, maybe just once, but the Texas defense really keyed in on those. It was Dillon Gabriel making something out of nothing on a pass play multiple times that made it work. I'm going to just keep this going into the passing game. The play that sticks out to me the most is that play where Dillon Gabriel, he's making something out of nothing. He's running to his left. Marcus Majors got a walk-in touchdown, and he drops the football.
Yep.
To me, that just illustrates the missed opportunities, even though Dillon Gabriel had ultimately, I think, look, he in 15 incomplete passes doesn't feel like it. He made plays. He made plays. He made it work.
He was nervous.
What do you think, Ryan?
He was nervous to start the game. He overthrew people. He missed some balls. There was one specifically the Stoops over the middle that he completely missed. He was nervous. He was figuring things out. I mean, you could kind of feel that in the air in the first quarter. I think once we got through that, I mean, are we talking about Dillon like in general at this point? Like,
Talk about Dillon,
go
baby.
for it.
Let's
Okay,
do it.
cool.
Go off. Go off,
He
King.
played incredible. I mean, it's exactly what we needed from him. And yeah, you look at the stat line and you're like 285, like 15 incompletions. You're like, he must not have played like that well. If you're watching that game, it's just like he is so in control of everything that's happening in that
He's
offense.
everything.
And he's so calm, he's so collected. It especially past the first quarter. I feel like the first quarter a little jittery. But after he got past that, I mean, that last drive with like a minute 30 left in the game with the touchdown to Nick Anderson at the end, I was just like, this dude, I would run through a wall for this dude. And I don't know, like, I am the biggest DG hater that there is or has been in the past. And I mean, this dude just like, that's a Heisman level drive right there at the end. Like, that's what that is. Will he actually like be in New York? I don't know. Who knows? But he's putting himself into these conversations by the ability that he has to play this game in this system. Is he the most talented person that we've ever had at quarterback? Definitely not. But he knows the system so well and he's so confident in the system that it just makes it makes it work. And the thing that I didn't see about him that I saw today is, Mark, kind of what you were talking about around his ability to read when a breakdown happened and ability to take off with his legs. Like, he's that access to that tool and like his toolbox is huge. And that's what kept us in the game today. And so like, I just have to give him as much, like as many flowers as I can at this point. I thought he played wonderfully. I thought he was probably the best player on the field today. And that's what we needed.
The crazy thing is, for all the shots that we all take at Dillon, he's too short. He'll sail some balls. He misses. Today, everything that we needed, he provided. And it's not just the passing game. I know that we just hit on the running game before, but it was Dillon in those, the thing is going to break down, I need to make a play kind of situations that were the game changing plays. He had what, a 40 something yard rush towards the end of the game.
Yep.
That was the moment, to your point, Ryan, that was the moment where I was like, oh, Dillon will be in New York. And this is going to be on the highlight clip when he is in New York. Long season ahead. Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't buy it before that moment. And today, Dillon showed me enough to say maybe he's about that moment. Matt, what do you think?
You guys hit all the points for DG. I think, to keep it simple, Heisman level performance today against a really talented, let's be frank, a really good top 3 Texas team in a very hostile environment. Played in really just key moments where he needed to. Obviously missed some passes on that 4th and 2 to Drake, a little bit behind him. Obviously missed Marcus a little bit low. Marcus maybe should have caught that, but overall, this is the type of games that you need your quarterback to step up. And he definitely did that. I also thought this was a breaking out party for Jalil Farouk as well. 5 catches, 130 yards. A lot of that was yards after the catch. I mean, he was making players miss, getting up the field, making guys look silly, especially after Andrell Anthony went down, which we again don't have an update on him, as well as Cade McIntyre, who went down, I think in the first half, I believe, maybe first quarter. So 2 key components to the offense. Go ahead, Mark. I don't know, you're shaking your head.
I think Matara went down later than that, but that's all.
Okay. It's either way, 2 important pieces of the offense. I mean, Andrew Anthony's been the best wide receiver, I think, by a pretty good margin, even though we know what Jalil Farouk can bring to the table. He showed that today, especially after Anthony went down, and hopefully it's not as serious of an injury to him as well. But Jalil just looked like the Jalil of old. From what we saw last year. He is an incredible player, especially when you get the ball in his hand. So really happy to see him having kind of his breakout game and obviously the best game of the year against Texas. So really happy to see that. I think overall DG made the throws he needed to. I think from a play calling standpoint as well, Jeff Levy just gets too conservative in the worst spots. I know he's trying to turn the clock, but 2 runs up the middle that are so obvious. He's just, I mean, when the pass game is working, he's got to mix it up and be just more creative. He's just such a straightforward play caller. And it gets very, very frustrating to watch, especially when we know what this offense is capable of.
So I do want to hit on that, but I also want to hit on, I think Jalil Farouk, even more than what he does after the catch, today we saw how he's able to get open. And that is a thing that I don't think we've taken enough advantage of. He is as good an athlete as we have on the field at any given time. And he is able to beat cornerbacks. And I don't believe we've given him the opportunities to go just beat a cornerback and get open. And I don't know why that is. I don't really totally get that. A little weird. But he more than doubles the next leading receiver on the team in Drake Stoops. 4 catches, 55 yards. Drake had a very uncharacteristic drop on a 3rd down that sort of took us back. We're not ready for that. But I think the ultimate, the receiving depth that we have there is, I mean, Nick Anderson comes in, he's got 1 catch for a touchdown. It's Ryan, speak to the receivers, because I think that what we saw today is sort of the breadth of the talent, even allowing the Jaden Gibson ridiculousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys have hit on most everything. It was the Farouk show. I mean, he was the best receiver that we had. He's the best probably athlete at wide receiver that we have, at least at this current moment. The one thing that I'll say, and I've said all season, is that I appreciate that, like, this team is better when we engage more wide receivers and we use more of our tools that we have available to us. And I think we did that again today. We're using multiple, we talk about Farouk getting all the yards, but like Nick Anderson having that touchdown right at the very end, like that's exactly like what we need those people to come in and do. And we can count on that.
Jaden in the game. All of these guys just coming in the game. Yeah.
So it's like it just allows us access to everything. And it doesn't seem to me that, I think at the beginning of the year, we were a little worried that DG was focused more on like Anthony and like that was his guy and he was going to try to get to him no matter what. And now it just feels like he's vibing with everyone and he can make a throw like that, like he did with Nick Anderson at the very end, to anybody. And that's really nice. It just opens up opportunities for us. So I continue to be impressed with the wide receiver group. I think they're probably one of the most talented groups that we have on the offensive side, at least. So
2 things on that. One, totally agreed. We saw a different Dillon today in that, Andrell is his guy. Like, you can tell that from every game before now and this game. Andrell's his guy. But he's also willing to give another guy a shot. He's not just going to go to Andrell. He's going to throw the ball where it needs to go. Second thing, pretty good offensive line performance, right?
Yeah, I thought
pretty
they played really well
freaking
today.
Good. That's Texas brought people. Texas has a very talented front 4, even when they don't bring people. I believe, and I've hinted at this before, and today sort of solidified it. And Matt, you got to it earlier very well, very eloquently. This is a pass first team. It just has to be a pass first team. And the O-line is built for that a little bit better than they're built for the run. And today we saw a Dillon that makes me think we can continue to be a pass first team without problems. What do you think, Matt?
You mentioned on the preview pod, we don't need to just pound the rock to pound the rock, right? This is a pass first offense DG is obviously capable of making those throws, and we have the wide receivers to do it. I'll just be interested to see if Anthony is out with a more serious injury. Can we get Nick Anderson, who's proven that he belongs to be on the field more, get him more involved, get Julio more involved, all these other guys. I'm kind of done with the tight ends. I mean, Stogner definitely had some good catches today, but the tight end room is not what it is or what we've seen in the past. We don't have that guy in that room, but
we might next year.
Potentially. And they do a good job blocking. I'm not going to take anything away from Blake Smith and Stogner and what they do in the trenches and for the run game and the pass block, but it'd be interesting to see. I just want to see Nick Anderson more involved. He's just too good to not be. And obviously, you got to feed Jaleel when can, but Nick Anderson's got to be more heavily involved, especially if Anthony's hurt.
I would take Stogner off the field and put Nick Anderson on the field every single time.
I think Stogner
That's all I have in response to that. But
he does a pretty good job blocking, though. I feel
sure. You
so
scheme around it.
Yeah.
You scheme around it because Nick Anderson is such a weapon, and Austin Stogner, like, he goes 3 for 24 today. He did have 1 or 2 very important catches, but I'm just, for the amount of time he spends on the field, do you guys think we're getting our money's worth out of Austin Stogner?
No.
Ryan, go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, again,
so.
like this is not to say it again, but this was my underperformer of the year prediction was Stogner.
Oh my God, you were man.
I know
it's so hot when you're right.
I just got to jump in there real quick.
Great point.
I don't think Austin Stogner is bad.
On it.
I don't think Austin Stogner is bad. I think this system operates better without the tight ends right now. Like it just does. We have too much talent in the wide receiver room. We have to use it.
That's the thing.
So anyway, I do want to go back really quickly to the offensive line because I said on kind of the preview pod that I thought one of the most important things was going to be this battle between Texas's defensive line and our O-line, and that they were going to have to give Dillon time. If they didn't give him time, we were screwed. He had time. He had time today. And particularly there was that one play at the very end for the touchdown to Nick Anderson, where I believe Walter Rouse literally blocked 2 people from getting to DG. And it was beautiful. And I was like, this is exactly what we need right here to like, this is how we win games, right? We protect our quarterback. We get him in the right position for him to be able to make those throws to our very talented wide receiver group. It all is a domino effect, right? And it all comes down to like how we perform on the line. And I thought the O-line did extremely well today. So
only one sack. Only one sack. One sack.
Against against Texas defensive line, which is very good.
This was the best defensive line we played all year. Cincinnati is next. This was the best line we played all year, and they made their presence known on the offensive line. Special teams.
Bad.
I wouldn't normally we don't normally need to bring it up, but
we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it.
Exceptionally bad.
It was very
exceptionally bad.
Horrible. Horrendous.
You have the Texas fake punt that gets a first down because we're not ready.
It's like 40 yards, not even just a first down.
Yeah, unbelievable shit. You have the Texas block punt that leads to a touchdown. Again, Texas only scores 2 offensive touchdowns all game long. Yep. They got that first one because we gave it to them.
Yep.
And
we got some shanks. We got some
game
shanks.
Is bad.
It's
punting
very
game
bad.
Is bad. And then we miss a kick.
It's
truly, it speaks to the performances on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball that we overcame as much as we overcame on special teams, because Texas dominated us in that part of the field. Ryan, go ahead.
No, I just like everything you said is right. We need a new punter and a new field goal kicker. These are my thoughts. Like
Hey.
all of it was terrible. It was so bad. All of it was bad. Like there was nothing great about special teams today, and they've been playing pretty well this year. And so that was kind of disappointing to see. Like, how many shanked punts did we have today? We had like 2 shanked punts. I mean, luckily one of them I think was when he got run into and we got 5 yards, but
Amazing that happened.
like
Fourth and
it's
4, we get a running into the kicker, not even a roughing. It's 5 yards. We get that.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
You said it best. Our offense and our defense played so well that they were able to overcome these mistakes made by special teams. That can't happen. Like that's those things have to be tied up. They have to be tied up. They have to be fixed. And hopefully they will be.
Yeah, there's three levels to football: offense, defense, and special teams. And today the special teams was horrendous. I mean, for special teams to put you in such bad positions, the pump block given up, the guy came down late. He was covering the wide receiver, came down late and ended up getting the block. I mean, there's got to be communication when the guy shifts in. And it almost happened again. The same guy almost blocked another punt. And you would think after the first time they would watch the tape and be like, hey, if this guy comes down, you're going to take him. Didn't happen. So I know Patrick mentioned at the beginning of the year all these kickers and punter transfers have come in. Is there not one guy that can punt and kick a football? I mean, listen, I'm not going to – I don't know how hard it is. I'm not going to sit here and say I can go out there and punt a football 40, 50 yards or kick a 40, 50-yard field goal. I'm not that guy. But there's got to be someone out there, or at least someone
Texas
on the
didn't have any
roster.
trouble doing it today. So
We're
the Oklahoma Sooners. We need to have a guy who can do it.
Right. And it definitely came into play today and obviously didn't cost us. But if those types of mistakes continue to happen, I mean, you hope that something changes or BB has a talk with the special teams coordinator to figure something out. But man, that would just been a horrible way to lose by only giving up 2 offensive touchdowns and the special teams let you down. I mean, I'm glad we got by, but that can't happen in the future.
Well, I think we can kind of round out all 3 phases with this. The expectation is higher now.
Yep.
We beat Texas.
The one that we didn't think we would beat.
We beat Texas, the one that no one thought we would beat.
Some of us didn't think we would beat.
Some of us.
I mean, yo, it's a good time to get into it. Patrick was the closest, 34-31 OU. He was damn close.
He was damn close. Yeah, I was 34-31 UT.
27. Yeah. Your number was right there, just on the other way.
But it was the other way.
It was just the other way. But it was, it's a tight game. But coming out of this, the expectation is that much higher. And as good as the offense and the defense played, special teams has to increase the level. It has to be better. That's all I got on the special teams. I think the Jaquez Petaway play was very cool. We got unlucky. I think that's just like what that is.
Unlucky
you get unlucky. And unfortunately, you can't really run that again because teams have seen it. If 7 teams over there, you watch for it now. So, offense, defense, great. Special teams,
Mm-hmm. Not even just bad.
Not even
just bad.
I love you guys. You guys are right. And with that, I'm going to lead off our MVPs so that I can go ahead and get it in. Dillon Gabriel, man. That's the right answer. He's number 1. I'm going to require you guys to pick other human beings because what a game this was. I know that you can find people, but truly 398 total yards, 2 touchdowns. He was the leader we needed today. He was the 5th-year senior where Quinn Ewers was the starting his 14th game sophomore. And he really played well. My PGP MVP for the goddamn OU Texas Red River rivalry. Dillon Gabriel, baby. Ryan, go.
Go. Well, okay. Dillon's the obvious choice. So that thank you for talking about all that. That was the correct choice. I'm gonna go on the defensive side and give it to JK7. I think this is his coming out game. I thought he played really, really great today. If it's not going to be DG, it's got to be our defense, and our defense played stellar. And he is the one that had a great showing and really like put himself on the map today. So that's my
absolutely.
Yep.
There will be a certain listener. I hope he listens all the way through. He should. He's part of the pod. Mentioned that this game doesn't matter. Are you freaking kidding me? If he was in that stadium today, he would understand how much this game means. I'm giving my MVP to the man at the helm, BV. Everyone keeps talking about his season last year, going 6-7. Is he the guy? Can he lead this team back from a terrible first year and lead him to the SEC and turn around this defense? Well, I'm here to freaking tell you, he ain't going nowhere. This is BV changing the culture, getting the guys that he needs to play his system, and getting these guys prepared. Because you know who took the first punch today? It wasn't us. It was Texas. That's why this guy's a head coach moving forward, heading into a very bright future. MVP, bringing the team together. BV, mic drop.
Again, that was fantastic. So thank you for doing that.
I know Mason will appreciate that.
No notes.
Matt's more right than all of us.
I know.
Because look, the whole storyline coming into this week is Texas is here and Oklahoma's on its way here.
Mm-hmm. But they're
And
not there.
Brent Venables said, no. I built a thing that's ready.
Mm-hmm.
And they're ready. Matt, that's the best MVP we could possibly have.
Clip it, baby. Clip it.
We're going to cut it right there, baby. That's the end of the OU Texas postgame podcast. I am Mark Hall, happily joined today by Matt Gann and Ryan Tyson. As always, you should like this video. You should subscribe to the podcast, and you should search us out on all of our social media feeds. Program Guys with a Z. It's the same thing everywhere. You'll find us. And truly, we thank you for joining us today at the end of a wonderful, wonderful Red River rivalry game. Ryan Tyson, take us out, baby.
Keep pushing it, baby.
Electric.
3, 2, 1. There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.